our board chair and the board of governors, Bleobi chairperson, head teacher, Aoba president, our guest of honor, representative of the Honorable Minister, president of 93-year group, our esteemed teachers, parents, fellow Bleobi, Accra, students, and just to make sure that all protocol is observed, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It is indeed a big privilege and an honor to be given this opportunity to speak on this August day. Actually, it's very exciting for me, and I want to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity because this is my first speech and prize giving day at Accra Academy. And I thought it is important to make this confession because I have never been to one. So, until the last 2 years, I had not really been involved much in Aoba activities. However, as I grow older, you may not believe it, but I have some gray hair. I have become more reflective on life, and I am spending more time going back to reflect on my beginnings, and Accra is part of my beginnings, where I have come from, and realizing how helpful that is in enabling me to make more purposeful steps into the future. I am realizing the usefulness of engaging more with my alma mater. I've become more engaged with my year group and peers, and especially had opportunity to participate in some of the activities here. I've now seen what I had been missing, and I have been missing a lot. The opportunities for networking, friendships that have been restored, and also the information sharing, knowing what is happening here. But for me, even very interesting, the opportunity to mentor students who are here in school, but also those who have come to us in the university to be able to mentor them. So, like somebody has said, I am a man in a hurry to make up for what I've lost over the years. And so far, I have not regretted it. I am also excited because there is opportunity for me in one way to give back to Accra Academy. This morning, I want to especially appreciate the 93-year group. I think we should put our hands together for them for what has been done this morning when we saw the completed Alema Hall. Mr. Chairman, with this opportunity, I'll share my thoughts on the theme for this year's celebration. This year's celebration is themed Accra Academy's Legacy of Excellence, Developing Visionary Leaders for Tomorrow. I do not think that anyone here would doubt that Accra Academy is truly a great institution of learning and has a recognized legacy of developing visionary leaders. Indeed, it would not even be necessary to spend time comparing Accra Academy to any other school. Accra Academy's track record in producing accomplished leaders over the years speaks for itself. If perchance anyone does not know, I'd like to briefly point out the excellent contributions this academy has made in producing leaders for the nation and beyond. From its foundation to present, many leaders and excellent people of repute across all walks of life have passed through the walls of this great institution. And many are serving in various capacities, not only in the land of our birth, but also in various other countries where their expertise and competencies have been called upon. Mr. Chairman, right from the start, our forebears had the capacity to foretell what this great academy and its graduates were destined to become. The goal is captured appropriately in our anthem, and permit me to refer to it. You have built nations of men. You have made great men of them. Generations of scholars salute you. Black and gray acknowledge you. I hope you noticed how convinced and fortified the author of the anthem was concerning what Accra Academy will achieve. Notice that the anticipated achievements were written in the past tense. As I stand before you, I'm totally infected by the conviction, and I'm beyond doubt, that as long as Almighty God allows, we are going to continue to see even greater achievements by this academy. Now, time will not permit me to list all the great and illustrious leaders of this nation whose beginnings were forged here on this campus and at Jamestown, where Accra Academy began. But I cannot continue my speech without highlighting a few of the famous leaders who were educated at Accra Academy. So, Mr. Chair, and yourself being an Accra Academy alum, and our board chair, with your leave, I would like to highlight a few of them across the years. Among the earliest cohorts Accra Academy has produced are greats like Frank Gibbs Toto. He was Accra Academy Bleu 36. He was a chemistry professor and the first Ghanaian lecturer of the University of Ghana. And I will crave your indulgence. This one, if you say you will clap for everyone, you will get tired, because there are plenty of them. But I'll highlight a few. Not only that, he was also a foundation member of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. Vincent Cyril Richard Arthur Charles Crab, we all knew him and called him VCRAC Crab. He was an astute Ghanaian jurist and public servant. He was a judge of the Supreme Court of Ghana from 1970 to 72 and also from 1980 to 81. And he was in Accra Academy between 1939 and 43. One who comes close to me in my profession is Professor Richard Orakatete. He was a food scientist and nutritionist, just as I am, at the University of Ghana, Legon. In fact, he is a pioneer of the study of nutrition and food science as a discipline in Africa. Joachim Awule Latte, we popularly refer to him as Over to You, Joe Latte, was an excellent Ghanaian commentator and journalist. He worked with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Right Honorable Lord Paul Yaw-Boateng is a British Labour Party politician. Justice Daniel Francis Annan was a Ghanaian politician and judge, and he served as a Speaker of the First and Second Parliament of Ghana's Fourth Republic. I hope by listing these, you are getting encouraged, students, because you are at the right place. Now, these that I've mentioned belong to the very early years of Accra Academy. Let me also highlight a few from the 70s to the 80s. We had Edward Do Ajaho, who was fifth Speaker of the Fourth Republic Parliament. Betty Mould Idrisu, also a lawyer, Minister of Education, and first woman Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Alex Dodu is a professor of pharmacology, and he currently heads Ghana's Standards Authority. Professor Jacob Plange-Rule was a medical doctor, formerly rector of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. And I love music a lot, so I can't skip this one. Emmanuel Mallet, popularly called Zap Mallet, is a veteran Ghanaian recording engineer and record producer. Now, I'll not lose the opportunity whilst I'm here to flag a few of my own contemporaries from the 90s onwards. Nana Ansakwao, the fourth, is a Ghanaian traditional ruler and a television radio broadcast journalist. Chris Niato is a Ghanaian actor, film director, on-air personality. Kisi Ejaben is a Ghanaian lawyer and he's currently the special prosecutor of Ghana. Nathan Adisi, popularly known as Bolare, is a radio and television personality and entrepreneur. And then one of my own year mates, Prosper Harrison Ado, is a Ghanaian lawyer, journalist, and football administrator. I can go on and on, but time will not permit us to do that. Across the length and breadth of this country and even beyond Accra Academy, graduates from Accra Academy are serving God and country in diverse ways. And on this day, I salute all Bleobi for making this school great and enabling it to live up to the ideals of the founders and its great name. This day, we have opportunity to celebrate not only the graduates, but also the institution. What it has stood for almost over 100 years of existence. This kind of achievement does not happen by itself. There are staff and teachers who make this happen, and they are aided by a constellation of well-wishers and supporters, including the alumni, parents, and benefactors. To you all, I say, Anyako. On behalf of all the students who have passed through Accra Academy, I crave your indulgence. Please join me on your feet and let's appreciate the teachers of Accra Academy, past and present. Let's put our hands together for the teachers and the staff of Accra Academy. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, today, I am able to stand before you only because my life experiences, including the time and opportunity I had at Accra Academy, has shaped my God-given talents. I do not, for 1 minute, consider myself a born leader. Indeed, some people are born into leadership, but that's not the kind I'm talking about. Let me tell a little story about my life. I came to Accra Academy from a rather lowly background. I grew up and spent most of my formative years not far from here. Perhaps some of you know Dakuman. I lived between Dakuman and North Kandishin. I used to walk to school from home. I was not among the best known students when I was here at Accra Academy. In fact, at some point, I was very close to the bottom of my class. I never had a prize in school. That's why I told you I never came to the speech and prize giving day. The first time I heard of a prize being given in school was when one of my classmates received one. I never bothered to find out how he got it because I couldn't imagine myself getting one. I was never involved in sports. I was not a class prefect. Apart from the small role that I played in Scripture Union in Hamadu, I never played any leadership role while in school. In fact, in school, I was not one of the people you would consider noticeable. But fortunately, that's not the end of the story. By the grace of God, I experienced a great transformation when I left Accra Academy to the university. I was part of the new educational system that was being experimented on in the early 90s. During my time in school, we were literally neglected, even looked down on as if we were not going to amount to anything. Eventually, however, there were a handful of us who made it to the university. At the university, and even in my home church, God gave me a unique ability to be actively involved in and playing several leadership roles and in many circumstances. Looking back on it, I dare say that my days here at Accra Academy had laid a foundation that I believe helped me navigate through my life experiences better. And I really appreciate Accra Academy for that. Mr. Chairman, I therefore belong to the school of thought that truly transformational leadership is cultivated. Everyone can be inspired to achieve higher and loftier goals than what they think they can achieve, irrespective of how your life and education began. Experiences in my life have taught me that everyone needs someone to guide them to achieve their goals in life. That is where inspirational leadership and mentoring comes in. Now, if this leadership and mentoring process is done right, it can create a legacy that transcends time, inspires generations, and shape the future. Accra Academy, as an institution, is an enduring example of legacy of excellence, forged by visionary leaders who dared to challenge the status quo. They pushed the boundaries and transformed the world. On a day like this, we have yet another opportunity, and I agree with the headmaster, that we should celebrate the founders of the school. So, Dr. K.G. Konwa, S.N. Awulete, J.N. Alema, and J.A. Hamadu. We say to you, Anyako. Everyone desires to be associated with this kind of visionary leadership. The question that begs to be answered is this: how can we secure this legacy and nurture it to continue producing more visionary leaders? How do you instill a lifetime thirst and hunger for excellence in the learners who pass through this academy? Bear with me as I share my few thoughts on this. First, I believe leadership development is everything. It must be prioritized over and above many of the subjects our children are learning in school today. When we are teaching math, science, agriculture, visual arts, etc., we must recognize that we are not merely teaching students. In fact, what we are doing is shaping and orienting their minds to assume future leadership roles. Now, I'm speaking as a teacher to the teachers here. Imagine God could reveal to you the future, and you can predict who the student in your class is going to become. Maybe a future Randy Abe, a Nimado, Alex Mould, or even Nana Rekoampem II, or some other national or global leader. How would you approach your interaction with them? I think if you had this revelation, it will compel you to continuously strive to instill in the next generation capacity for greatness through careful mentorship and skill development beyond what we do now. I believe, and I challenge us, that we should think of achieving excellence, not just as a destination, but as a journey. And every great person has a story to tell as they went across their life journey. And we need to help our younger ones to create meaningful journeys in life. Number two, I think greater emphasis on fostering a culture of innovation and experimentation is necessary for leadership excellence. We must encourage risk-taking. We must encourage creativity and critical thinking. I encounter too often, and sometimes I feel sorry for learners who refuse to exert themselves. They are content to do only the barest minimum so that they can pass. That is really sad. Creativity and discovery thrives in an environment where learners and teachers are not afraid to make mistakes. We must enable our learners and our children to acknowledge and view mistakes as an opportunity to discover better ways to solving real-world problems. We must create an environment where learners can take initiative and reach for more than what they already know without fearing that they will blow it. or being afraid of suffering some consequences because they made a mistake. We can reach for the skies, but only if we are bold enough to desire it. This week, NASA has sent a spacecraft called Europa Clipper into space. It is to learn about Jupiter and to find out whether there are traces of life as we know it there. It's going to take 5.5 years to achieve this. This kind of endeavor requires tenacity, dedication. Teaching at the university, I encounter too many students who are unwilling to exhibit perseverance, and are always looking for quick fixes. It is sad to see that too many young people are subcontracting their thesis to contractors to write for them, and then they come and present it as their own. And we must help our young ones from now to learn ethical success. Third, parents, teachers, older siblings, alumni, all of us must lead by example. A few weeks ago, I was here for the homecoming event. I was fascinated by how the students were excited when they saw a range of expensive vehicles that were brought here by visitors. And they all flocked to go and stand around it and discuss it. We need to teach our children to not only view these machines as wonderful products to aspire to have, but also to believe that they can also create these machines. Accra, we can also create these machines. We can do this through mentoring and exposing them to opportunities where they try their hands at things, and then they learn how to make mistakes, but also to take risks. Finally, parents, teachers, and alumni must strive to create an atmosphere of acceptance of diverse opinions. Our young brothers and our children should be exposed to working and learning in inclusive teams so that they can learn to celebrate and accommodate different perspectives. Those who are fully able, those who are disabled, and people of all walks of life. We must learn to be able to engage them. Mr. Chairperson, I want to use this opportunity to frankly speak to students. We live in a rapidly changing world. Natural resources like gold, petroleum, lithium, all that God has blessed us with are no longer the solution to upwardly mobile economies. Knowledge and technology are the new gold. Whoever has the latest cutting-edge knowledge and technology controls the world. I believe in you, the young people, and I'm speaking to you. I believe that the students here have what it takes to put the nation and indeed the whole African continent on the global map. Our nation and other African countries are looking up to you so that we can harness and focus your enthusiasm, your energies to discover the kind of knowledge and the technologies that can change our lot as a people. And there are so many challenges around us. There's so much potential that comes with these challenges. Please do not settle for only what Google tells you. It's really sad that these days when you ask students to search for information, their default is to go to Google. Google search as your answer to your school assignment is a lazy way out. Take it from me, I'm a teacher. Technology is more than flashy cars and the latest mobile devices. There's also more that this country holds for you. Do not look for the quickest opportunity to leave this country. Unfortunately, there are too many young people who are leaving Ghana disillusioned, not knowing how life will turn out. But I believe that there's more to life than just finding the easiest way out and running out of this country. My advice is to stay. Take your time to create solutions here and people will come here looking for you to hire your skills. I'm saying this from experience. I'm not saying that when you get an opportunity to travel for a worthwhile activity like going to school, do not take it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I personally had an opportunity to study abroad. Between 2003 and 2007, I was studying for my PhD in the US. However, before I left, I had a firm resolution that I would not stay there. And therefore, I completed my program in August 2007. By September 2007, I was back here without even having a job. But I believe if I am here, it is because when you stay, there are opportunities here and you can take advantage of it. I urge you not to substitute your desire to travel for the fact that your friends are traveling out. Since 2003, I have traveled in and out of this country no less than 3 times every year. I have never used my own money to buy a plane ticket. I'm just highlighting the fact that if you take your time, build yourself, acquire skills, people will come and pay for your skills. When you are privileged enough to be in a school like Accra Academy, you have opportunity above and beyond many others. And I want you to know that you have been put on a pathway to excellence. I encourage you, take this opportunity seriously. Don't sacrifice it for short-term gain. And I want you to look at me, students. Avoid cheating in your examinations. It will destroy you. And I've seen too many students, their names come up at academic board, and we just give them a grade where you either have to repeat the whole year or some other worse outcome. Avoid the temptation of smuggling in mobile phones to school and spending all your time on social media when you are supposed to be studying. I urge you, innovate. Seek more creative ways to discover knowledge and technology. And when you find it, you would see that it will improve your lot. And when you think that it is too difficult, that what you are going through is challenging, I want you to remember these 2 examples. I'm sure many of you have heard the name Albert Einstein. He failed his entrance exams to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School. Indeed, he repeatedly failed mathematics courses, but eventually won the Nobel Prize for the theory of relativity. For those of you who are interested in basketball, LeBron James, he struggled in high school. He faced poverty and instability, yet managed to pull through and become a global icon. Take it from me, you can also make it. Let me also take a bit of time to talk to parents, and I want to speak to parents frankly. I'm also a parent. I think parents of today, we fret and we worry too much about the future of our children. These days, parents will not even allow their children to go out and play. We are striving so much to create and package our children's future, so much so that we end up robbing them of their ability to innovate and create their own pathways. That's the reason why parents are going to all lengths, legal and illegal, to ensure their children go to particular schools. And they are paying to influence their children's grades in exams. And if your child knows that you are doing that, what do you expect they themselves would do? So parents, we need to set good examples for our children. We shouldn't tell lies when they are there. In fact, we shouldn't tell lies. We shouldn't drive and break all the traffic rules whilst we are driving with them, because then we are teaching them the wrong thing. If we fail to allow our children to try and stand up on their own merit, they will not be able to stand up on their own feet when we are no longer around to help them. And they cannot excel and be good leaders if we don't set good examples for them. And these days, we are seeing the outcomes of children who are living as if everybody owes them something. If you haven't been following the news, in the US particularly, the Me Too movement shows us that we really need to be raising our children to be ethical in the way they engage with other people. And I don't want to talk about the news, what I heard this week from France about what a husband did to his own wife. To the teachers and the staff, I know from experience that the times that we live in is not the best time to be a teacher. This is because we have major challenges with our educational system. At the high school level, while the political banter goes on about free SHS in all its shapes and forms, the reality is that we are producing graduates who are not being equipped as adequately as they should. Increasingly, our children are spending less and less face time in school. The number of learners we admit far outstrips the resources needed to train our students. And this morning, our headmaster has told us about the scale of the problem. There's also so much unpredictability about the school calendar. And it's not easy for teachers and staff, and also for the learners. So, fellow teachers, for you, I only have words of encouragement. Please continue to give your best under the circumstances. Remember that our labor of love is rewarded not only through our paychecks, but also through the recognition we obtain through our past students. I would also like to encourage our alumni. I mean, what the 93-year group has done shows us that there's so much more that we all can do. And so I would like to encourage us that whatever we are doing to support the school, we should continue to do, and God bless us as we do that. Mr. Chairman, as I conclude, I'd like us to reflect on this. Our world needs visionary leaders who can navigate complex challenges, foster collaboration, and drive progress. Leaders who can inspire, motivate, and empower others to achieve their full potential. Leaders who can mobilize communities to solve problems, who can foster peace and create opportunities. We all, including the school, by developing very visionary leaders, we ensure that our legacy of excellence endures. We ensure that our organizations, our communities, our society continues to thrive, not just exist. As we look to the future, let us remember that leadership is not just about the titles and the positions. It's about influence, impact, and legacy. Let us strive to create a world where leaders are not just visionaries, but are also virtuous. Where leaders are not just successful in achieving greatness, but also do that using the right approaches. Our anthem says, grasp the substance, leave the shadow, then onward to the truth. Let us leave a legacy of excellence that inspires generations to also do same. A legacy that says, we dared to dream big. We challenged the impossible. We made a difference. Accra, thank you for your attention.